So we're going to get going here. This is our second webinar on bed bugs, and this webinar we're going to focus solely on canine scent detection. Some of the things that we're going to cover today, how and why the canines are even used for bed bug detection, how we train the dogs to do this type of service. If you show up, if you request an inspection and we show up, what you're going to expect from that. Just the difference is between canine inspections and human inspections, and then we'll also meet the Wil-Kil dogs as well. So the first thing we want to do is just, kind of give a little background on scent detection and dogs and bed bug scent detection dogs. Dogs have been used for centuries for scent detection, going back to hunting, and in the last 30 years or so, dogs have been starting to be used for insects, bed bugs specifically. Why we're going to use the dogs is the differences between their accuracy between a human inspection and a canine inspection. The dogs are going to be very accurate opposed to a human in finding low-level infestations. It's part of the best practices as far as the national pest control industry standard of what pest control companies should do when we're doing inspections, what hotels, property managers should use for their inspections. The efficiency of the dogs is going to be that much more greater than the human, the number of rooms they can do in a given hour. The cost savings for the client and the end of the inspection, the price for a canine inspection is, and the efficiency of it is going to be very more beneficial than a regular technician inspection. And then also brand protection. These dogs are going to be used to find low-level infestations. If for the hotel industry, we're going to want the dogs to find those bed bugs before a guest would. And then brand protection for property managers. We want to get those infestations identified immediately and get taken care of before residents are getting uncomfortable and the word would get out, you'd get a bad reputation. So several uses for the dogs for bed bug inspections. So when we talk about dogs, and we're going to try and teach people how these dogs work and what they do, what I always go to is the chicken noodle soup analogy. So when grandma's cooking chicken noodle soup and a human walks into the kitchen, this is what we're smelling. We can smell right away that there's chicken noodle soup on the stove. So on the flip side of that, what a dog would smell when a dog walks into the room, the dogs right away are picking up specifically on the individual pieces. The dogs can pick up that chicken itself. They can differentiate all the different ingredients, the carrots, the celery, the onions, and even down to salt and pepper. The reason dogs can do this is their olfactory receptor cells in their nose. So to not get too in depth on those, but to give you an idea of the difference in a dog and a human, the olfactory glands of a dog, they have about 200 million compared to the 5 million that a human would. So those glands are connected directly with the brain of the dog, and that allows them to filter and recognize different smells and odors. So we can train the dogs to do different things, where the humans just can't differentiate those different smells. One location where these dogs are trained and where Wil-Kil has chosen to utilize is J&K Academy down in Florida. The owner, Pepe, is a former law enforcement canine handler, and Pepe started a obedience and animal shelter for dogs. They also have a training division called ScentWorks, and within ScentWorks, they train dogs that go all across the country to do several different things in scent detection. The first would be the dog's looking for different types of citrus canker disease that affect fruit trees. They train dogs to search for duck eggs out in marshes. Government dogs and law enforcement needs. So this would be everything from drug dogs, dogs at airports, across the borders. Getting into the entomology part, searching for termites. And another category that we've found recently is, here's a picture of Pepe himself down in Florida. These dogs were looking for sea turtle eggs. So the dogs are trained to detect that sea turtle egg, and what they would do is they would alert in that area, they can mark it, and then we can protect those eggs from the visitors of the beach. So when we pick our bedbug detection dogs, what Pepe and J&K would do is they'll comb the shelters, they'll get donations of rescues, and once they find these dogs and look to put them into the program, first they'll have to go through some behavioral tests. They want these dogs to pass some simple tests, make sure that they have a drive for food rewards, and that way they can tell right away if a dog would be able to go through the bedbug training and come out successful. When they do finally go into the training, it's about a 4-month process. These dogs are working one-on-one with the J&K staff, and they'll go through blind hides, different environments, and different types of testing. So once these dogs are ready to go, they'll give the company a call and say, we got your dog ready. So we send our handler down to Florida, or bring the dog and the J&K staff up to us, and they'll go through some, initially for a first-time handler, he'll go through some written tests. He'll also do plenty of field work with the dog within that first week of training. What the staff will do is they'll hide vials of live bed bugs in different environments, hotel rooms, office settings, basically anywhere they can get the testing done, they will do. They'll hide vials with live bed bugs, and they'll also hide vials with no bed bugs or dead bed bugs to make sure that these dogs are only searching for live bed bugs. So once our team passes all the written and field tests, J&K says, okay, you're good to go, and they send us off, and they push you out the door. But they definitely, we rely on them a lot for continuing training, continuing questions and answers that we get from them. And once that final graduation from J&K is done, we don't stop the training there. So all of our teams are also, we use this third-party organization called NESDECA. NESDECA is the National Entomology Scent Detection Canine Association. So what this is a governing body. What they look to do is unite and assist all canine teams across the country with training, and they also look to establish a working standard for canine teams throughout the area. NESDECA will annually test dogs, so each team will go once a year to do annual training to pass and get recertified. So this is best practice for canine teams across the country, for handlers and the teams to be certified. Part of the NESDECA training and certification, what that means is those dogs that are NESDECA certified will only alert to live bed bugs and viable bed bug eggs, so eggs that are still ready to hatch. Why that's important is after a treatment, we can the industry can send in a canine team, and they can validate that treatment to make sure that there are no more live bed bugs in the room or in the unit in the home. So having the dog be able to differentiate between live and dead bed bugs is definitely a valuable tool. So the canine inspection. Once the canine inspection gets scheduled, there are a few things that would need to be done, especially for occupied units. So a couple of things that would need to be done, we want to control that environment. So prior to the arrival, we're going to have an occupied unit go through a preparation checklist that they would receive ahead of time. And what we want to do is we want to limit air movement, and we want to limit distractions, food, whether it be human food spilled on the floor or the pet food and toys from the occupied unit, that animal, we want those removed. Air fresheners, oscillating fans, air conditioners, things like that that would move the air is something that we want to have turned off. What that would do is that could move the scent that the bed bugs are giving off, and or it could mask that scent with an air freshener, and our dogs might not be able to pick up on that. Cats and dogs, animals would need to be removed for the inspection, and then the residents of the unit or the homeowners, we would just need them to step outside while we do that inspection. Again, just controlling the environment, limiting distractions, and giving the best chance for success in those inspections. So here's a team coming in to do an inspection. This is a hotel room, and we have Rick, the handler, leading Max, our dog, on the leash. And basically we'll come into the room, we'll do a visual walkthrough before the dog even comes out of the crate, and we'll just ensure that the unit is safe for our dogs to come inspect. And once that dog's out of the crate, he's ready to go. He's nose down, and he's ready to work. And you can see that when Rick is leading the dog around those rooms, he doesn't have a very tight hold on that leash. He's just letting the dog do the work. But he's concentrating, he's staring down at the dog, looking at his movements. He's looking for that distinct alert. So when Max would, or any bedbug dog will find that odor of bedbugs, he's going to make a very distinct alert to let the handler know what he found. You can see Rick has a bag on his hip that would carry his food reward. So when our dogs find the bedbugs, they'll get that food reward. So you can see he's leading Max around to all areas of the bed, and what he's telling Max is he's telling him to find your bees. He's not saying bed bugs, he's not yelling find your bed bugs. It's just a quiet little find your bees, and that's the signal for Max to know that we're here to work. So once Max picks up on that scent, you can see he's getting excited, and he is pawing at the area. He's actually going to put his nose right in the area where that bed bug odor is detected, and he's going to start making that distinct alert. Then you can see Max is getting his food reward. He's done his job. He's located what he's looking for, and he's getting that hand-fed reward. Now these dogs are only hand-fed their food, and they only eat when they find live bed bugs. When the dogs wake up in the morning, they'll do some training at the handler's home, and they'll find live bed bugs, and throughout the day, this is how they're fed their food. Depending on where that odor is falling for these dogs, they can pick up on that odor even high in headboards and picture frames. This is a picture of Daisy doing her search, and that odor where the bed bug hide is, where we've placed bed bugs in this training room, was actually behind this picture frame. So Daisy was up on that bed and putting her nose right into that picture frame. These dogs will get into about any area that they need to, wherever they're picking up on that scent. This was in a vacant dorm-style unit, and the dog was picking up a scent up on the dresser. So Max was actually up on his hind legs going after this area. Because of his actions, he was placed on top of the dresser, and there was actually bed bugs in the track of the closet door where we were finding the bed bugs. So Max was finding that odor and then letting his handler know where he needs to go. So after those dogs alert, we're not just going to see the dog alert, give him the reward, and make sure that, okay, there's bed bugs here. What the technicians are all going to do is they're going to crate their dog back in the kennel, and then we're going to visually confirm. So these technicians will go through the bedding, headboard, do a full visual inspection, and just to make sure that, yes, here's where the dog alerted, here's the evidence, here's the live bed bugs, and we can provide all that information to the client. So the advantage of that canine inspection compared to just a technician inspection, briefly touched on it earlier, but we'll go into some details here. The multiple rooms being inspected in a given hour. Typically for hotels, a standard hotel room, about 20 units per hour can be inspected with the canine team. And within that inspection, unless there is alert, the beds do not need to be stripped of the linens, mattresses don't need to be stood up. So there's very minimal disruption to those rooms, and that saves times for housekeepers where they don't have to go in behind the team and remake any beds. In apartment settings, typically 10 to 15 apartment units in a given hour. That all depends on the size of the units, the clutter, what's in those units, but on an average about 10 to 15 units. And compare that to a visual inspection by a technician. We're doing about 1 to 3 accurate inspections in a given hour with just a technician doing the searching. The dogs are going to be more accurate than the humans, doing just an inspection where they're relying on that scent instead of just the technician relying on their eyes. The documentation and peace of mind aspect of it for property management, the new move-ins, new move-outs, you can have the canine inspection done in a vacant unit prior to a new move-in and give them the peace of mind that they're moving into a bed-bug-free unit. The move-outs, the canine search can let us know what those tenants are moving out from to make sure we don't have anybody moving into an infested unit. We're also not relying on the residents to come forward with a suspected unit. And we all know in the property management business that the residents sometimes are not very forthcoming, and especially with bed bugs, there's that stigma with them. They don't want to get in trouble. They're embarrassed. The canines can come in, do that inspection, and then we're not relying on the resident to say anything. Brand protection for hotels or property management. We want those dogs to come in. We want to find infestations at their infancy before they get out of control, before they get large, before a guest would see it, or before it could spread to other units. So that's going to also save on your cost. Having those bed bugs be detected in one unit before they could spread to multiple units is going to be the efficiency of those. A couple examples here of the canine inspection in action. This is a unit, a hotel unit where there was a suspicion reported by a guest. Technician goes in and does an inspection and could not immediately find the infestation. The dog team came in after that and immediately alerted right below the headboard. The headboard was popped off the wall, and we can see as we zoom in on one of those screw heads, we do have a pretty good cluster of bed bug eggs, a live bed bug, and that led us to finding that infestation. Another example, again with a hotel setting here, the canine team came in after a guest suspicion and was alerting right towards the baseboard and bed frame area. And then as we zoom in a little closer, that's right where this bed bug was hiding. There's viable eggs and live bed bugs right in that little notch of the bed frame. So we're going to meet the teams here, the Wil-Kil teams. Something that we're very proud of is having 3 dogs and 3 scent detection handlers as part of our team. They're all Wil-Kil employed handlers, and the dogs are all owned by Wil-Kil. They're not subcontracted out at all, and we cover the entire Wil-Kil footprint when it comes to our bed bug scent detection. So anywhere that Wil-Kil covers the entire upper Midwest is where our dogs will go. having these 3 teams is a great benefit to us and also a great benefit to the clients. The things that we can do with multiple teams is ongoing training, where we're having our teams always work together, and they're doing training on and off the clock, doing blind hides and constant field testing, where we can have a dog go through doing a sweep at an apartment building or a hotel. If we have a dog alert and we have multiple teams on site, we can actually do a little QA audit where another team can come in and search that room as well, and we'll get both dogs alerting in the same area. All the teams are NASDAQ certified, which means, again, that they're annually tested on their accuracy, and the dogs will only alert on live bed bugs and viable eggs. Another benefit for our teams is the same handler works with the same dog every day. This is a dedicated position where our dog and handlers, they live together. So it's not a dog being transferred from one handler to the next, and you talk with anybody in scent detection. That's a major important factor when it comes to the accuracy of the team, is having that bond, that trust, when those dogs and those handlers are out on the field working together. First on our team is Max. Max is kind of our top dog, where he's our original canine scent detection dog. He's a 9-year-old purebred from the state of Florida. Max was actually the very first scent detection dog for hire in the state of Wisconsin. Max lives in the Racine area with his handler, Rick, who has been with Wil-Kil for several years. Max is kind of our poster boy for the canine team. You'll probably see him at a lot of trade shows and conventions, a lot of TV appearances. He kind of loves the spotlight, and so he's our most senior dog at the Wil-Kil. Next is Daisy. Daisy was brought on the team 1 year after Max in 2011. 8-year-old beagle. She was rescued from a shelter down in Florida, and Daisy lives in the Milwaukee area with also our technician Mike. And last is our 3rd member of our team is Bull. Bull's our newest member of the team. Bull was brought on earlier this year. And he's up in the Wisconsin Dells area. Cool thing about Bull is before he was trained down at J&K, he was actually living in Georgia doing some deer herding, and that kind of gives him the drive and the work ethic that he uses at Wil-Kil finding bed bugs. And a lot of people always ask us kind of how these dogs are and after work and what they do, and everybody wants to pet the dogs when we show up on site to do an inspection, and it's just like any service dog where they're there to work. So at the time during the day when they're at a service location, you know, they're really not available to be pet and passed around. But after work hours, these are just normal dogs. At the end of the day, they hang out with their handlers. They go home with their handlers every night, and again, that strengthening the bond of living with that handler is one of the benefits that we have with Wil-Kil. Some of our handlers have other pets that our dogs are just get to be buddies with, and they get to hang out with after work. And they're, again, just like any other dog, they get to have some fun time too. They get Christmas presents. They get to be spoiled a little bit. But it is a pretty good balance of work and play. So when they're at work, when they get in that crate at the beginning of the day, they know it's time to work. But just like anybody at the end of the day, they kick their feet up and relax once the work's done. So at this time, we're concluding, and we have plenty of time for some questions, some things that we could get revisited, any questions about the dogs themselves, what to expect from an inspection, or anything canine related. You can type your questions in the on the dashboard on your screen. So let us know if there's any kind of questions or anything that we need to clear up or cover again. And you can see on your screen any way to reach the Special Services Division, which will handle all of the canine scent detection, inspection, scheduling, or questions. You can reach Special Services at the phone number 1-800-236-8735, or you can also reach the bedbug department at bedbugs@wilkil.com. We had a question come in, how much lead time would be needed to have a canine service? So scheduling wise, it really depends on how many units you're looking to inspect in your building. Typically it's about an hour of, is the minimum hour of a reserved time for you, but usually within just a day or two of getting that call, the teams can be on site. Then it's definitely the benefit of the flexibility, having 3 teams to cover the footprint that Wil-Kil services. Couple things to consider when you're looking for that canine team, because there are plenty of smaller one-man operation canine teams that can be contracted out, but definitely the things to look for is that NESDECA certification. That would be one of the most important things to know if that dog alerts. Is it live bugs or is it dead bed bugs? Are all alerts verified by the handler? It sounds like a simple step, but it is something that gets overlooked by some teams. So we want to make sure that when you're looking for your canine team, does the handler visually confirm that where the dog alerted, where's the evidence? The preparation checklist. Having a checklist given to an occupied unit prior to the inspection is a huge step. Controls the environment as best as possible, eliminates variables, and gives the best and most accurate search available. We had another question come in. Do you have customers that have you come in on a regular basis for canine sweeps and canine inspections? So it is a pretty popular service and it's a huge benefit to the clients to have the dogs come in either on a monthly or a quarterly or bi-yearly basis to search either whether it's a hotel or an apartment building, at least coming in a couple times a year just to see where all these rooms are at, see if there's any infestations that are unknown at the time. So it is a very common service to have the dogs come in on an annual basis to do regular inspections. Okay, well, if there's no other questions, we'll wrap up. Again, please see all the contact information on the screen. If you have any questions, call the number, the 800 number, or the bedbugs@wilkil.com email address. If you have a specific question to your location that would be best answered through a private email, use the bedbugs@wilkil.com email address, and we'll get those answered up. We appreciate everybody attending, and we also have our last series our last webinar series will be coming up in September. This will cover different treatment options for bed bugs, so something to look forward to. If you have any questions before then, again, reach out to us right away. But Thursday, September 15th is the date for our next webinar series for treatment options. Thank you very much.